I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to pop culture, but I do live in the 3D reality, and pop culture is a part of the 3D reality. And Earth School is in session, so yeah, I can learn lessons from pop culture stuff. First up, Johnny Somali. Thank God I've never heard of him before this story happened, but he's evidently a nuisance streamer, American nuisance streamer. That is an actual job that some people have where they make money streaming themselves being a nuisance. He goes to foreign countries, especially Asian countries, where social order, being respectful, not making a spectacle of yourself, letting people have their space and peace and quiet is really highly valued. He goes there and disrespects their culture, gyrates on their statues that depict abused women, and pours his food out in a convenience store on a countertop, just making a mess for somebody to clean up, and thinks it's funny. And evidently, the people that watch him are just as guilty, if not more guilty, for supporting that behavior. People, you really need to get your priorities in order. But I consider myself a very compassionate and forgiving person. But honestly, I heard that this streamer got arrested in South Korea for being a nuisance and is being held and not able to leave the country while they wait for trial or to decide if he needs to serve time in prison, which is frightening. I guess he's like 20, 22. He's young. He's an adult, but he's a young adult. Um, my first thought was, yes, get him, South Korea. As you know, I teach South Korean students online. I teach English to South Korean adults. And the first time I heard about this streamer was from one of my students, actually, because everybody in South Korea has heard of him. And he's making America look bad. Well, we do a pretty good job, actually, of making America look bad ourselves. But he's particularly making America look bad, disrespectful to other cultures, and helicopter. Frankly, I don't feel any empathy for him at all. And I heard that he made a plea. I am I'm just a kid. I've learned my lesson. This is such a good lesson for me and for others to see that this is wrong and my behavior was wrong. I strongly doubt that he means it. My my feeling is he would, if he were to get released on that plea of, oh, it was just a mistake, I'm young, and come back to America and then laugh about it and not learn anything. Just learn that you can lie and weasel your way out of trouble just by manipulating people. I personally wouldn't be upset if he ends up getting some prison time in South Korea. I think that would actually make me happy. Does that make me a bad person? I think it makes me a real person with uh, human feelings. Now, I don't know his childhood, his background, what kind of traumatic childhood he might have had that caused him to be like this. I don't know. Did he have a traumatic childhood, or is it just a person taking advantage of the way things work these days and taking the easy way out, just doing nuisance streaming to make himself a lot of money without any regard for the effect it has on other people who watch it or on the people who he's being a nuisance to. Helicopter, nuisance helicopters. Whoa. That one's loud. So, did I learn anything from this Johnny Somali story? I learned that I'm not above I'm not above being judgmental, especially to ugh, nuisance streamers. I'm sorry, but when it comes to ways to spend your life and use your influence, nuisance streaming has got to be pretty much the lowest bar that you can reach for. Next, I heard that Nicole Scherzinger has come out as a Trump supporter, and people got mad about it. And she had said something about the wokeism had taken over the country, and that we needed to return to reality. And in a way, I see her point. I do feel like wokeism went way too far. And of course, a lot of that is the fault of people using it for followers on social media, doing the extreme stuff, basically to make money. Some of those woke content creators are just fake. They're just doing it because they'll get attention, and attention equals money. Good attention or bad attention makes money. So I get it. I get it why she would feel that way. The helicopters are going crazy tonight. I wonder if it has to do with the Trump parade that's going on, or it's just a regular Saturday night in West Hollywood. Someone made a comment about, uh, here's me deleting the one Nicole Scherzinger song that I have on my phone. I have a couple. Will I delete them? No. I like a couple of her songs. I'm like one of those early 2000s kind of aficionados. I do love that period when it came to sort of clubby music. It makes me happy. I'm not mad about Nicole Scherzinger saying that. I guess there was controversy as well about, I guess she's nominated for a Tony Award, and people were saying, oh, the gays are not going to give her that Tony now. Mm, that would be sad because the Tony should be given to the person that they think deserves it. If they think she deserves it, regardless of her political affiliation, she should still get it. But, I don't know, maybe it's not the way things work in the real world. And last, the Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix. I watched it, and it really struck a nerve because it really showed her in an unflattering light, and I'm kind of surprised that she was willing to give them all that stuff. There were letters that she had written to her husband when she was going through a really difficult time. He was leaving her, and she was sounding really desperate, almost like she was going to harm herself. And it made her sound really kind of unstable. And I'm really surprised. That was pretty ballsy of her to let them have access to that stuff. And also, there was a video that she had recorded at her house when she was after she had been found guilty in court of the charges of lying to the officials about the stock trading. And before she got sentenced, it was Easter, and she was cooking an Easter meal. And there was a video, and she was being so mean to her staff. A woman was cutting an orange with a small knife, and Martha almost lost her mind. What a stupid knife! It's a big orange. Why would you cut a big orange with a small knife? Here, cut it with a big knife. See how much easier and more efficient that is? Oh. And she said, "Oh, I just don't know what to do anymore." And yeah, she lost it. I mean, I can see she was really stressed at that point. But I actually saw a taping live of her Martha talk show in New York City. It was one year, it was my actual birthday, so I remember it well. Kathleen Turner was one of her guests, and there was a segment at the end of the show where she did her little teaser. She said, "When we come back, I'm going to tell you about carpet ghosts." And um, then she had this guy, Joey, who was sort of her comedian, sort of hype guy to keep the crowd levels, their level of excitement high during breaks and before the show and stuff. And so he started talking to the audience, and she was still on stage. Uh, and he was talking to the audience about carpet ghosts. Who know? Do you guys know what carpet ghosts are? And Martha got really mad, and she said, "It's my segment. Don't you tell them what it is. It's my segment." And I was kind of in shock because the whole audience was sitting there. The audience was dead silent, and she said that, and then she just stood there and was getting ready for her segment. And the poor guy, Joey, was clearly like embarrassed and kind of felt humiliated in front of the crowd. And he still kept going and trying to, play it off. But whew, it was intense. And I had always loved Martha Stewart. I was a little gay boy growing up in Connecticut in the 80s, 70s, and 80s and 90s. And I always loved Martha Stewart. And it kind of, for a while, I kind of lost my passion for her because I kind of was like, "Ugh, she's not a nice person." And over the years, I've gotten over that. I mean, she's a real person who makes mistakes and gets angry sometimes. And this documentary solidified that she can be kind of nasty and mean, a perfectionist, and not always in touch with other people's feelings. She even said in the documentary, she said she never really wanted a man that wanted to talk about his feelings because she's like, I don't really care what he's feeling. I care about what is he doing, because that's the kind of person she is. She's interested in learning and traveling and doing different things and projects, and that's her personality. She's not a touchy-feely person like me. I'm all about feelings. If I have a partner, they better talk about their feelings because otherwise I'm going to lose interest really quickly. But that's just, she's not that way. And I guess a lot of it has to do with her upbringing. And her father was very much like that. And it seems as though she's very much like her father. She treats her staff the way her father treated her. And yeah, so I was pretty impressed that she would allow the documentary team to have access to all this stuff, which really didn't paint her in a very flattering light. But I mean, I still like Martha. I'm, whatever. Uh, I I'm probably won't I don't buy her products or anything, but that has nothing to do with her personally. It's just that I'm like this. I don't need a lot of stuff. I've got so much stuff. I got too much stuff. But yeah, I watch her content during COVID. I was watching her show. She did a couple shows live. Well, not live, but she did a couple shows from her farm, uh, which were kind of fun and entertaining. It was comforting during COVID to have some Martha, you know. So all power to her. No hate for Martha, but yeah, she's been demanding. I definitely couldn't have worked for her. If it would have been one of those situations where I would have been like, oh, my dream job, I get to work for Martha Stewart, and then I would have ended up quitting because I would have been like, oh, I can't work for someone like this. I have quit jobs where I felt like my bosses weren't good people because that's just the way I am. If I don't respect you, I don't feel comfortable working for you. So, in conclusion, pop culture is interesting. We live in a 3D world. Pop culture is a thing, and the Earth School is open. So everything's an opportunity to learn about yourself, learn about how you feel about the world, your part in the whole vast universe of information flow and all that. Do you guys have any opinions about this stuff? Let me know. LMK.